Every woman's menopause journey is entirely different. And if you have a friend or a sister or a mum indeed who has gone through HRT and they're swearing blind that that particular method is working for them, and possibly you try it and you don't get any of the same results that they are benefiting from, that is nothing to be surprised by, because we are all so very different. Your body, your environment, your genetics, your expression in life are all unique to you. So today I'm going to uncover a few things around HRT, what to expect, what not to expect, and what works for one woman may not work for another. And that can just lead to frustration. It can cause confusion. Today I'm going to unpack all that. You may have been chatting to your best friend and she is literally glowing. She's on HRT. She's decided what works best for her, and she is swearing blind that it is helping her sleep. She's got her libido back. She's losing weight. And you just think, I need some of that stuff now. And maybe you've tried it and you've been really disappointed with the results because you've just ended up with breast tenderness. You've actually gained weight, and what worked for her is just almost having the opposite effect on you. And that is entirely normal, purely because we are all absolutely unique. So what works for one may not work for another. And it doesn't mean that it won't work point blank. It just means that there are various nuances. You know, there's the patches, there's the gels, there's the creams. There is you as this unique individual with your own individual blueprint. All of these things have a profound impact on how effective a certain type of HRT may or may not be. And when we're desperate for answers, it's so easy to compare what other people are doing, how they're living, the results they're getting, the types of HRT they are on. But it is not like going to, say, M&S and all buying the size 12 polo neck and all looking the same in that very same jumper. It just does not have that same effect on us individually. So why might HRT work for one woman and not specifically for another woman? And it can be down to how your body receives, processes and clears hormones. And that can be influenced from everything from how your major organs work to your sleep and your genetics. Hormones are like little messengers. They essentially carry messages around your body, and then every cell, either outside or inside the cell, has receptors for that specific hormone. So when that hormone finds the right receptor, it acts like a key. The jigsaw puzzle pieces match together, and there you have the message in its entirety. But here's the key, is that not every woman has the same amount of receptors in her body, and not every woman has the same sensitivity of either her receptors and or her ability to receive the hormone message effectively and efficiently. Some women have more estrogen receptors in, say, the skin and the brain, and that can make them more responsive or indeed more reactive to HRT. Others may have fewer receptors and they might just have a greater resistance to absorbing the HRT. So, you know, so one type of HRT may work particularly well for one woman, but another type of HRT might be better suited to another woman. And also genetics plays a role. So, you know, how your DNA is made up can also determine how well you go through the menopause, how you may manage that transition, how well the messages get around your body, and also how well they are received, and how effectively, once that message comes through and is received, how effectively that message is taken up in the response that the body has to it. The state of your liver will also have an impact on how your body responds to HRT. Your liver is like the body's detox headquarters. Every hormone in the body, whether that's natural or HRT, gets broken down and then secreted out of the body due to the liver's function. And if your liver is overloaded with things like high sugar, a lot of alcohol, ultra-processed foods, then it's going to have a more difficult job to metabolize hormones efficiently. And that can also lead to estrogen dominance, which is when people say, yeah, but don't I want to be dominant in estrogen and if all my sex hormones are falling? No, because it's all relative to your progesterone, your testosterone. The type of HRT you use matters also. So if you take it orally, that will get metabolized by the liver. But if you take a patch or a gel, those bypass going through the liver and go straight into the bloodstream. So if your friend is thriving on an oral HRT tablet and you're really struggling on it, it just might be that your liver is struggling to metabolize the HRT effectively for you. So it might be that you'd be better suited to using a patch or gel instead. Next, you want to be considering the health of your gut, because hormones get recycled there. The gut has its own community of bacteria called the estrobolome or estrobolome, and that helps regulating circulating estrogen levels in the body. When the gut is out of balance, say from stress or antibiotics or ibuprofen, it might also be low fiber intake, or you're just not got healthy gut microbiome, then certain enzymes can actually reactivate the estrogen that was due to be cleared out of the system. They send it back into circulation, and that is not a good thing. That's why gut health and liver function go hand in hand with hormone balance, and also how you metabolize your HRT, if indeed you take it orally. And I'll link to a video here about gut health in menopause and just how foundational it is, not even just through menopause, but just for a healthy existence in general. Coming on to the thyroid is really your body's metabolic thermostat. Your thyroid hormones and sex hormones are in constant communication with each other. And if your thyroid is underactive, so hypothyroidism, then that means that the hormones that should be excreted efficiently out of your body are actually staying in the body for longer. So your body's metabolizing them more slowly. And that can intensify your menopause symptoms. It can increase weight gain, which is quite normal with hypothyroidism in any case. But it also can make you feel more fatigued. It can negatively impact your mood. It can also affect how your body uses estrogen, because thyroid and estrogen receptors tend to overlap their pathways. And so some women on HRT might just feel that it's not working, but in actual fact, it is the thyroid that is the problem, not necessarily the HRT or the type of HRT that you're taking. Also, stress has a massive impact on how the body uses HRT. Cortisol and our sex hormones have the basic main raw ingredients. They share the main raw ingredients, but the body's need to survive will always take over everything. So for instance, if you're running down a dark alley, you might have been starving hungry before you were running down the dark alley away from the potential danger. But all of a sudden, you're not hungry anymore. In fact, your appetite will have gone completely. And it's amazing how when our adrenaline and our cortisol, our stress hormones are spiked like that, the body shuts down the activities in it that it doesn't actually need in order for it to survive. Well, reproduction is exactly the same. If your body senses stress, and remember, sensing stress, it doesn't really matter where that stress comes from. Of course, you're going to have more of a stress response to waking up and there's somebody in your house that shouldn't be there, versus eating the ultra processed evening meal yet again. However, it is all stress. The same stress hormones get pumped out regardless of what the cause of the stress is. And cortisol will have a negative impact on your symptoms. So stress management, rather than cutting down on stress, because that can be quite tricky, we all live fairly stressful lives, but stress management, so building your resilience to manage stress more effectively, will really help to mitigate your menopause symptoms. But it can also make how you use HRT work even better for you. So it might not be that it's the HRT that needs tweaking. It could be that, for whatever reason, you're not drinking enough water, you're not sleeping very well, you're eating the wrong types of food, you're perhaps not moving enough. You may also have those stressors from the people and the environment that you live in. That is all going to have a negative impact on how your body metabolizes and also uses HRT. Finally, your genetics will have an impact. There are some enzymes in the liver that can significantly influence how your body metabolizes those HRT hormones. Some women clear estrogen or excess estrogen really effectively, and others, it stays slugged in there, and in fact, indeed, recirculating in their systems where it should have been cleared and deactivated, hours beforehand. So slow metabolizers might have more side effects from taking HRT versus faster metabolizers. And fast metabolizers might need a slightly higher dose of HRT than a slower metabolizer. And of course, genetic factors influence how sensitive your receptors are, which I mentioned right at the beginning of this video, to, taking those messages that are coming from the hormones. So really, that is why your best friend's HRT story really has nothing to do with yours. We are all absolutely unique. We're all individual. We all have different environments. We all have different genetics. We might metabolize faster or slower. We might have slightly different liver function. We may have a better or worse resilience to stress. We might be following slightly healthier lifestyles or not quite so healthy lifestyles. All of these will have an impact on how your body responds to HRT, not to mention the different types of HRT that are available to you. We all have a unique hormonal fingerprint, and that's why one of the most powerful things you can do is to stop comparing your journey to somebody else's. Listen to your body, because it's always giving you clues, and consider that it might not be the HRT that needs changing. It might be something else, maybe like your thyroid that needs checking, or your liver function that needs checking, in order to see where you're at as far as, yeah, maybe go for a full blood work, and then they'll be able to tell what your liver function's like, what your kidney function's like, how your thyroid's doing, what your hormone levels are like, and then that will give you a much clearer picture as to finding a strategy that is going to suit you specifically going forward. HRT can be very helpful. I would see it as part of your toolkit, not the toolkit. It can support you, but it has to be part of a much larger picture that includes healthy lifestyle choices. The next time your friend tells you about her miracle HRT story, clap for her, smile, and just remember that your journey doesn't mean to say if you're struggling with it that you have something wrong with you. You don't. It might just mean a few things that you need to get checked, and it might even be that you know, if you're taking it orally, you might need a patch or gel. Have a chat with your healthcare provider. They all should be able to point you in the right direction, and don't suffer in silence. If something is not working like you want it to or expect it to, I think we all have to be realistic about things, because it is not, HRT is not a cure-all, but surely if you know you're having trouble with various aspects of it, have a chat with your healthcare provider, because it might be they need to test something else or just change either the dosage or the way that the HRT is delivered into your body. So you're not doing menopause wrong. If we've got this far, aren't we doing bloody well? And let's celebrate it as best as we can. I know there's good days and bad days, but I'm glad that you were here with me. Thank you so much for your company. If you found it helpful, please click the like button and consider subscribing to the channel, and then you won't miss future episodes. And I'm all for, yeah, tell me in the comments, what are your experiences of HRT? Are you pro it? Are you against it? Please be kind to each other. There's always the odd one or two that will hop on when they see HRT in the title, and it's just like, wah! Like, okay, calm down. We all have things that work better for us and things that work not so well for us. And if somebody has an awful lot to say, I would say make your own video too and explain the reasoning behind it, and we can all celebrate you showing up on YouTube. Thank you for your company, and I will look forward to chatting with you next week.